Welcome to Hometown Business on Stoughton Media Access. I'm your host, Jeffrey Pickett. On this episode, we're visiting Dogtopia, a new business in town located at 284 Washington Street, right in the Stop and Shop Plaza. Dogtopia offers daycare, boarding, and spa services for your dog. Let's go on inside and see what it's all about. So we're inside Dogtopia now, which is located in the Stop and Shop Plaza here in Stoughton on Washington Street, Route 138. And I'm here with Bill Polk. Bill, thank you for coming on Hometown Business.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Tell us about Dogtopia. Give us a rundown of the Dogtopia experience.
Certainly. So Dogtopia is a national chain that was started in 2002. And we started expanding in 2004. We now have 70 locations nationwide. We have another 100 plus that are underway, and we are the nation's premier destination for dog daycare, boarding, and spa services. So we focus on first and foremost safety for the pet parent, because this is your child, which is we call them pet parents. So we focus on the safety for your dog. Then we focus on socialization for your dog and the benefits of socialization, and also sanitation. So we don't look, feel, or smell like a kennel. I wish the video was a scratch and sniff video so people could smell, how clean we are. But we run a very tight ship, and we care for your dogs the way you care for your dogs.
So when did you open up in Stoughton? How long have you been here?
So we started training in December, and we had a soft opening for the first 2 weeks of January, and we had our grand opening January 13th.
So you're fairly new. How are things going so far?
Going very well. Beautiful facility. General contractor did a wonderful job, and the staff is fantastic. And we continue to ramp up, and we get more dogs every day.
So how many dogs can you hold here each day for the daycare?
For daycare. So a boarding dog is considered a daycare dog that's just having a sleepover. So it's total number of dogs. And there unfortunately are no rules that regulate how many dogs can be in a facility, but we self-mandate what we can have. So I can have a maximum capacity of 55 dogs, but that may change if we have a lot of larger dogs one day, and we segregate our dogs based on size and temperament. So, I can go up to 55, but, I can determine we've got a lot of active dogs, we've got a lot of big dogs, I'm going to cut that number down.
So a lot of people, the dogs, as you mentioned, they're like children, and
right.
A precious member of their family. So they're working, they have to drop them off, and they have to be without their dog. How do you put them at ease that they're going to be in good hands here? I want you to actually talk about the security features, because I know that
Certainly.
Right to my left, you can see actually security footage of the spa and two of your rooms here. So tell us about how the owner can feel at ease when they drop their dog off.
Well, that starts actually before they even drop their dog off. That starts when they come in for a tour. So anyone can come in at any time for a tour, and we are completely transparent. So we've got live webcams that we can show you. We also have a mobile app where you can watch your dog, so you can watch your dog all day. But we're also transparent in terms that, in a lot of facilities, you really can't get back to see where your dogs are. And I say, would you ever drop your child off at a child daycare center where you can't see your child? So you come right in and you can see everything, our entire facility, so entirely transparent. And again, you can watch your dog play all day. And you can look at any of other facilities that we have. All of our webcams are completely public. So, we try to give the pet parent a measure of comfort, and our staff is very well trained. And then we bring the dog in, and the dog goes through an evaluation. And the pet parent can stay here and remain here and watch that entire evaluation and see how their dog gets along. And then after the evaluation, we encourage that pet parent to leave their dog for as long as they can during that first day, so they can see that their dog is more comfortable. Because the longer period that dog has to assimilate to the location, because it's a new location, as nice as it is, as clean as it is, it's still a new place. So all new smells and everything for the dog. And so they, we're, again, total transparency. They can see everything in our facility. You'd want to see where your child is left, so you want to see where your pet is left, because that's your child too.
I want to backtrack a little bit, talk about you. And
Okay.
How did you get into this business? You own dogs. Tell me a little bit about you and what attracted you to want to work in this business.
I'm a dog guy. I'm a Great Dane guy. I've got 2 Great Danes, and one of them comes here. The other one wouldn't pass her evaluation, so I have a dog daycare business, and I can't bring one of my own dogs. But I was actually rereading a book that's about gut reaction and gut instinct, and I'd been looking for a business for 3 years to buy, and I'd looked at a number of franchises, then I looked at independent companies, and then I started looking at franchises again, and when I heard about this, within 60 seconds, I decided that's what I want to do. That's the business I want to be in. A place where you can come and take care of dogs and be with dogs. And it's a fun place to work. I mean, my entire staff, they can bring your dog to work. So I have a great staff, and it's a fun place to work.
Now, I want to go over the difference between daycare and boarding. So what are the hours for daycare? When can the owners drop off their pets, from when? And
So our hours are 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday, and that is for daycare. And boarding is you drop your dog off, and then so we're 24 hours a day. We have a boarding facility, obviously, but again, for the difference really is, again, a boarding dog is merely a daycare dog that is having a sleepover. So when someone comes in and they drop their dog off, and they can come and pick them up anytime until 7:30. If they are boarding, then we have staff that stays later with the dog and stays until 9:30, 10 o'clock at night to make certain they're fed, they have time to digest, and then they're put in their crate for the evening. And then the entire facility is locked down, so we've got security cameras everywhere. And we have security on the door, we've got security cameras, I've got the information on my phone, my manager has the information on her phone, and one of the reasons why, and we don't have someone sleep over, and one of the reasons is if someone is in the facility, the dog will know, and dogs will be awake, and they'll be awake all night. So it's a very quiet environment, and then, so the dogs, and they're tired at the end of the day. They're ready to go to sleep at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And then we have an early staff that comes in around 6 a.m., between 5:30 and 6, depending on if we have boarders or not. And then they get fed, have time to digest their food, and then the daycare dogs come in.
So it's not just you. Behind me actually is a large number of your staff. How many people work here, and what's it take to be a Dogtopia employee?
So we have approximately 20 people on our staff. Toya, my manager, can speak more to the numbers and exactly who's here. But we have about 20 people on the staff, and we'll have anywhere between 4 and 6 people working at any one time, depending on the number of dogs and the number of spa services that we have on that day. And my turnover is next to nothing. I've got a stack of resumes on my desk. It's a fun place to work. So I've about 20 employees, anywhere between 4, 6, 7 will work at any one time.
And you mentioned a few times the evaluation process. So talk to me about that, what it takes to be evaluated and accepted as a dog into the Dogtopia program.
Right. Well, our primary focus is on safety. So we need to make certain that any of our dogs that come in are socialized and can be socialized. So we go through a formal process that's been developed by our headquarters and tested over the last 15 plus years. So we've got a form, and we gently introduce the dog into an evaluation room. And first we talk to the pet parent about the pet's history and any hot spots if the dog doesn't like to be touched in one place or another, its experience, how socialized the dog is. And after we get the history of the dog, then we take them into the evaluation room. We gently introduce them into the crate to make certain they can be crated, because we have nap time from 12 to 2 every day. So it's open play all day except for nap time. And then we'll introduce a gentle dog, maybe one of our nice Labradors, and they'll come in. And then maybe we'll introduce a puppy, a little more active dog. And we see how they do in that environment. And then we gently introduce that dog into one of our 2 playrooms to see how they get along. And not all the dogs pass. Like I said, my dog would never pass, so he's never been here. Danny, another one of my employees, she has a dog that definitely wouldn't pass.
Do you have a
But,
percentage as to how many
yes,
do?
we fail about 15% of the dogs. And that's it's slightly higher than our of all our locations. It's about 5 percentage points higher. But I know that's because I'm seeing dogs that have probably been rejected from other facilities. But we go through a process, and we've got a document, and we've got a point system, and we want to make certain that that dog is safe here, and then the other dogs are safe when that dog is introduced into the general population.
Well, Bill, I think it's a great time to segment into showing our viewers into some of these rooms. And you have two themed rooms. You have a park and you have a beach where the dogs can play. And I think it's time. It's summer. Let's go to the beach.
Let's go.
So we're here to talk about the beach-themed playroom, and I'm here with Tyler Cassidy and Jatoya Reynolds, and you are the manager, Jatoya.
Yes.
So each of you, before we get into the beach, tell me about how you started working at Dogtopia and what you like about it here.
I started working here because I heard about it from my friend Danielle, and she said it was a great place to work. I looked it up and it looked like I wouldn't want to work anywhere else, so I applied, and luckily they took me.
I started working here. I saw an ad on Indeed for their front desk, and I love dogs, obviously, so I kind of wanted to be in the playroom as well. Luckily, I can do both, and that's how I became to work.
So let's talk about the concept of the playroom. And one thing that I noticed in particular, that there aren't any toys. You have some structures that the dogs can climb on, but it's absent of toys, so let's talk about that.
Okay, we don't have any toys because there are some dogs who get very overprotective of toys. So even if we do have the same amount of toys to the same amount of dogs we have in there, there's always going to be one dog that wants what the other dog wants. So instead of toys, we do have bubbles, which a lot of dogs love bubbles. And then we also run around the playroom with them, and we work the playroom so that way they're not just laying there, they're not bored.
Yeah, so what's your level of interaction with the dogs while you're in the playroom? What are you guys doing while they're up and about?
We keep them moving around and petting them, and we like to have them jump up on the equipment, let them play around with each other.
So what type of dog goes into the beach-themed playroom? Is there, because I noticed that the different size dogs go in different rooms, so who goes in the beach room?
Well, our wee dogs, for one, will go into the beach room. Those are our dogs that are 3 pounds or under, which mainly 3 pounds. And also our dogs who, if they're older and they just don't have the energy level as some of the younger dogs do, they will go into the beach room as well.
Do you stay in one room all day, or can you go back and forth?
Well, the playroom attendants, they do pick which rooms they go into when they come in for their shift. And then also, if they're able to, they could switch out after an hour. If they feel like there's a lot of dogs in one room, they can switch out to give themselves a break from one room and go play with some of the other dogs in the other rooms.
How do you find the interaction between the two, or between the dogs are in general, just because there's so many different personalities? You might not have dogs coming every single day. Some dogs might come, twice or 3 times a week, or once in a while. So how do you kind of work everybody's personalities into the equation here?
It's kind of natural, actually, especially we do a lot of training for one. So some of the training, it lets us know how to deal with dogs with different personalities depending on their breed. So that actually helps a lot.
And I want to go into the training because I understand that you guys have to go through a lot of training in order to be able to spend time with the dogs and handle the dogs. So I'd like you to talk about that.
Okay, so we do a lot of hands-on training. We actually had, before we opened, we had the support office come for a week. They gave us a lot of hands-on training, and then also we do have a lot of online training that we have to complete as well before we're able to actually go back into the rooms by ourselves. And it teaches us how to deal with dogs of different breeds, dogs that are like smaller, dogs that are bigger.
So lastly, even though it's not an actual beach, when you look in the room, it's very bright still. So I'd like you to talk about that, how there's so much natural light that still comes into both play spaces.
Okay, we do have a skylight that's into the beach in the beach room, which allows the natural light to come in, which makes it so bright and airy, and that's why they went with the beach theme for that. And for the park, we do have windows that's the length of the back wall, so that way it gets that fresh air in as well as the natural light.
Great. Well, I want to thank both of you for joining me, and let's transition by taking a look at the park. Now I'm here with Destiny Rivera and Sean Lydon, and you guys were in the park play space today. So tell me about how you started working at Dogtopia and what you like about the experience so far.
So I actually was on break from college, and I was looking for a part-time job. And I had also found it, Dogtopia, on Indeed. So I submitted a resume. I had an interview with Bill when they were actually still constructing, and he was telling me his vision for the place, and I totally fell in love because I love dogs, and it was a great idea. So yeah, I actually was hired and joined the team.
All right, I've been working at dog daycares for a couple of years now. I've worked at probably 4 or 5 of them, and I was just getting too fed up with where I was working last time. A friend of mine at the time worked here, so I came in here for an interview, and I just fell in love with the transparency. They have the webcams that you can watch all day. It's the only place I've ever worked at. You can walk in the front door and get a tour of the whole facility on that day. Usually you come in and they're like, yeah, come back in a week and we'll try to give you a walk around. And I just fell in love with the shop and the way everything's ran here.
So from a schedule standpoint, you come in, you drop your dog off. Where's the dog go after drop off?
Yep. Oh, you want
So actually the dogs come right in, they'll drop off, and then they'll just give us the leash, and usually we'll have a playroom attendant that comes right up to the front. We actually all use walkie-talkies, so we can just walkie a playroom attendant, but we also, as front desk, are cross-trained to be playroom attendants, so sometimes we bring the dogs to the back. We actually have an eval room that's between both of our playrooms. We switch out their collars, and then we'll put one of our own, and then we bring them into the playroom.
Their respective playroom, and then once they're in the playroom and they've played for a few hours, everybody gets a nap around midday, around noon. So what are your roles during nap time?
Yep, so during nap time, usually the playroom attendants will be cleaning the whole room. Front desk will go back, we'll get the lunches ready, get everything prepared. The dogs that are eating the house food, we'll get the house food prepared, and we'll read the instructions, how many cups the dog eats for lunch, and we'll bring it out back while the employees are busy cleaning everything up. And once we're done feeding, we'll help the employees clean the rest of the room and make sure the dogs are actually eating their food.
And I know that that's something, you talked about cleanliness, that's something that you can't obviously tell when you're just watching on television. You don't have smell-o-vision, but it's, as Bill mentioned, everything here is very clean. So how important is that? You know, how many times during the day are you cleaning and making sure that everything's spotless?
So we actually clean between shifts, so right around nap time, and at the end of the day we actually do a more deep cleaning. But we still clean between both shifts, and some of the things that we do is we're always switching out the mop heads between shifts. Those are always washed and dried. We also have 2 different cleaning products for when the dogs are on play and when they're not on play and they're actually in their crates sleeping. We use Eliminator and 222. The Eliminator, well, actually both products are very safe for the dogs if they were to ingest or smell it, but either way we still have the Eliminator product, which is for when the dogs are on play. It's kind of a right on the spot cleaner, and then the 222 is our deep cleaner, which we use when the dogs aren't on the floor.
What size dog typically goes into, we just saw clips from the park. What size dog typically goes into the park?
So the park is usually for the medium to larger dogs. You have your labs up to Great Danes or Old English Sheepdog. But there are a couple of small dogs that have like Napoleon syndrome. So most of our Frenchies, they think they're huge dogs. They don't pal around with the small guys. They go in there and they try to play with the big guys and be rough with them. It's all size and temperament. So mainly on temperament. That's why we have the meet and greet and everything at the beginning of it. So we know the whole personality. It's a very in-depth intake process to be able to bring your dog in here for the meet and greet. We want to know everything about your dog. So like I said, if it's a small dog that has a big dog personality, it's going with the big dogs.
Now, during the day, maybe the dog gets a little dirty, maybe the dog needs to be clean. So I think I'd like to show everybody in our next segment the spa services offered here at Dogtopia. So I'm here with Danny Haar, and we're here to talk about the spa services offered at Dogtopia. So walk me through that, what you can do here at the spa.
So we do everything. We do nails, teeth, ears, brush outs, and baths. The only thing we don't do is haircuts. So basically, when we bring the dogs in, we'll take their collars off, put one of ours on, and then we'll start, whether it's a full spa package, or if they just want a bath or nail trims, we'll do whatever the owners ask us to do.
So are the spa services included in the cost of coming here, or is it something that's additional?
It's an additional charge.
And so what type of products are you using in the spa?
So for the spa, we use a variety of different shampoos. So we use, anti-itch and dry skin. We use an oatmeal. We use tea tree oil, lavender. We have just a very broad, selection.
So what makes you like to work in the spa side of things, and is this something that it's just that you do, or can other employees do it as well?
No, everybody is trained to work in the spa. So, if somebody on the shift doesn't know how to do it, we make sure they do.
So what do you like about the spa?
So it's really just like a one-on-one type of thing, and you get to really just, know the dog more. And then they're clean after, so.
So in terms of the process of when during the day you might be giving a bath, is this something that's based on the owner's request, or is this something that, baths are always at this time? How does that kind of work?
Nope, it's based on owner's request. So if, if the owner says, I'm going to pick the dog up around 6, then we're like, okay, we'll give the dog a bath around 4:30, give them enough time to do everything and fully dry before they get picked up.
Also worth mentioning too, while not necessarily spa related, that in terms of drop off, my understanding is that there's almost curbside drop off where you can come off and.
Yep. So if it's gross outside, weather's really bad, and the owners don't feel like going out to their cars, we'll go right out and grab the dogs and bring them right in for them.
So if, let's say that you're watching this and you're not necessarily looking to drop your dog off for daycare or boarding, but maybe I could take advantage of these spa services. Is that something you can do even if you don't leave your dog here?
Yep, so the dog doesn't have to be a daycare dog to come in for a bath, so it's open to the public. For a small charge, you can bring your dog in and use any of our products that we supply in the room, and you have full access to everything in the room.
So before we wrap up this segment, I'm sure the viewers at home are wondering, who's this cute dog that we're watching getting washed right now? So tell me about Snow.
So Snow is one of our regular daycare dogs. He was scheduled to have an appointment today for a spa. And, if you're interested in any type of self-serve, you have to just show proof of a rabies vaccination, just like Snow. Snow is up to date on all of his vaccinations.
Well, Danny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
here with owner Bill Polk, and thanks for showing us around today, giving our viewers the chance to be able to experience Dogtopia. And before we sign off, just want to give you a chance to offer some final thoughts.
I just want to thank you and your team for coming in and visiting us and interviewing my staff and seeing our facility. And, you know, I just encourage people to come and check us out. And when you bring your dog, it's the most exciting day ever for your dog. They love it.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on. And you've been watching another episode of Hometown Business on Stoughton Media Access. I want to thank CJ Mullen and Gina Coe and Bella Coe for helping put this show together. And we'll see you next time on Hometown Business.